Well, hi there. Welcome to the Obi-Wan Alliance. I'm Jacob. This is Luke. Like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And in today's video, we were doing a What If episode 6. Comment down below your thoughts about the show so far. It's going really well. And in this episode is revolving around Killmonger saving Iron Man. So what was your thoughts about this episode, Luke?
It's good. I think it was one of the best episodes. I think the scenario was unique because obviously a few things changed, but Killmonger still wanted the same thing as he did in the scenario that we already knew that happened in the movies. So he just did it in a more clever way, and I think it was cool. It was cool to imagine. I guess we didn't see all the effects of what that would have meant if Tony Stark didn't become Iron Man and the Avengers didn't form. But yeah, I thought it was really clever and it tied in well and it tied in a lot of characters. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, seeing a different scenario play out for Iron Man. Of course, Killmonger is pretty good played by Michael B. Jordan. I actually think Michael B. Jordan is one of the best actors in the entertainment field, and I actually thought so far his voice commanded probably the best performance out of everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
I do have one nitpick about the episode, but probably get to that later on. So, what did you think about his plan?
Well, it was watching it. It was hard to work out what he was actually trying to do, and whether or not it was possible would be a different question. But it worked in the end in his favor. Just thinking, recapping the episode for those that might want to follow along and see what our thoughts of the main parts of the episode are. Yeah. What kind of plays out in the episode bit by bit?
Basically, we get to see what happened in Iron Man 1 play out, but instead of Tony Stark getting captured by the 10 Rings terrorist group, he gets saved by Killmonger, and we don't get to see the hero form as Iron Man. He gets saved, and we get a different press conference as the end of at the end of the first Iron Man. Basically, Obadiah Stane still gets brought down.
Yeah, so I thought that was clever that Killmonger discovered the plans to kill Tony Stark and then gets taken down. I didn't actually click until you mentioned there that the terrorist ring was the 10 rings, which didn't mean anything till I'd seen Shang-Chi. So that's cool. That links in really well, and that links in the whole idea of the Mandarin. That's clever. So yeah, that plays out as you would, and so Tony Stark never feels the need to make the Iron Man suit
and change his mindset.
Yeah, so instead of seeing his weapons being used by a terrorist, making him go, "Hey, we need to stop this," instead he comes up with the idea if he needs to make bigger weapons to stop terrorists, which is kind of the opposite of what his goal was in Iron Man. So Killmonger kind of gets in his ear with that, and then a whole bunch of random scenarios play out, and we see some reoccurring characters. So what is Killmonger's actual plan throughout this with Tony Stark?
Basically, to try and get him to help to build new technology to try and get his little ways to Wakanda.
Yeah, so he supposedly went to MIT and he tried to build this robot thing that was kind of like a Hulkbuster, but not as big or as cool or as definitely easily destructible compared to it. So he wants to build that. Tony builds it. Tony finds out. Oh, so they work out they need the Wakandan metal what's it called?
Vibranium.
Yeah, they need vibranium, so then they deal with the South African dude from the Black Panther movie that's been helping the
Claw.
Yeah, been helping them get vibranium. We see Black Panther again. He gets taken down by Killmonger pretty easily,
and Brody as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's one thing with the episode. I find that heroes have been killed too easily. Like I feel like Black Panther would have been a bit easier to kill than that. Bit harder to kill. Sorry. Then what? He then returns back to Tony with all the vibranium.
Yeah.
And what happens there?
Basically, he's saying that, it was the Wakandans that killed this American soldier, Brody, and then Iron Man obviously doesn't believe that because he's very smart, and then they have a very...
Well, he saw the footage Jarvis had been recording, so he saw what played out.
Yes, and then he had Jarvis connect to the machine, and then the machine fights Killmonger, and then...
Killmonger defeats it very easily,
yes,
which is a bit far-fetched.
And then kills Iron Man, and unfortunately Tony Stark never becomes Iron Man because he basically dies in Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and then this is where I got a bit confused. So then Killmonger, even though he's done all that, the US still think that he's a good guy, and they want to help use his design to make multiple soldiers.
Yeah, he blamed it on the Wakandas because he used a vibranium weapon.
Oh yeah, that makes a bit more sense. So they build hundreds of these little soldier things that he wanted, and he convinces them that they can go into Wakanda.
Yeah.
And then that's when his actual plan comes a bit more clearer. So he then sneaks into Wakanda and uses...
With Skull.
Yeah, uses him as leverage to say, hey, let me in, which is what happened in the Black Panther movie. He convinces them that the Americans are coming, and the only way to defeat them is to let them through their shield.
Yeah.
And then what happens from there?
Basically, we get to see kind of the same battle as in Infinity Wars with the palace guards with their vibranium weapons, and also the, I guess, men with their cloaks and their guns basically take down the Stark industry robots.
They do it very easily as well.
Yes, they do.
And so they come in, and then he assures them that once they get in, they close the field, that the US won't be able to talk to him anymore, which is correct.
Yeah.
But he secretly has a little button that he then controls them, just so that he can defeat them easily and prove to them that he's loyal to Wakanda and Wakanda forever, which I thought was a bit crap. You know how he yells out Wakanda forever? It just didn't have the same effect as in the Black Panther movie. It seemed a bit staged. Defeats them, proves he's loyal to Wakanda, and then eventually becomes the Black Panther.
Yeah. Which
is what he wanted, but it's such a long-winded way to get to the plan, but I guess I liked the episode because of that. He still wanted the same thing. He still wanted to become the Black Panther and the king of Wakanda, but he had to do it in a really interesting way. But it adds up. It makes sense. It's believable too.
Did you like the whole dream scenario that we got in Black Panther as well? But T'Challa saw his dad, and Killmonger saw T'Challa.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It was clever. I guess again we're left with unknowing what happens with the scenario. So we're left with him becoming Black Panther, but then does he go on to be bad, or is he now he's good, but he just wanted to become Black Panther, or does he take down Wakanda? We don't know. And then what?
Shuri and Pepper Potts get together.
Yeah, that's right. And we're left with wondering what they were going to do, but they both knew that they needed to expose what was going on, that there was more to the story. So that's the recap of it. Where do you rank this with the other episodes so far?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was... It's in the mix. I don't think it's the best or the worst. I think it's definitely better than episode 1. I'm on the fence if it's better than the Doctor Strange episode. I think story-wise, it's probably more interesting, more happens. Visually, I think visually the Doctor Strange is probably the best. This episode, I think it's definitely around the middle or upper echelon. I think it was good.
I reckon it's probably top 2 for me because I like the way it didn't come up with this crazy scenario like what if T'Challa became Star-Lord or zombies. It's literally it's what happened in the movies, but they changed the way it happened. He went about it a different way, which I liked. I thought that was cool. I was just imagining if a few different things played out differently opposed to people swapping roles, or what happened if... It reminds me a lot of the first episode, which is probably my favourite, because that was one little detail changed and a different person became Captain America. So I think it's top 2 for me.
Should we get to nitpicks?
Yeah, tell me what you've already told me, but what's the thing you didn't like about the episode?
My main nitpick is that I know it's a small nitpick, but the scene that Brody and Pepper Potts are talking to each other, she says, "Oh, Colonel," he's actually wearing a major symbol because Lieutenant Colonel is white and Major is gold, so it's just the animation. So to me, it's just a small nitpick, but it's like, it really took me out of the experience. It's like we know he's a colonel, but it's like you got your ranks wrong here, because actually in Iron Man 1, he was a ranger, but it was kind of strange, and then he gets promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. So it's just something small, and I guess something as well. Wouldn't Nick Fury step in and go, "Oh, should I help Iron Man out here? I want to try and start the Avenger initiative."
I thought the same, because I suppose it's not to Iron Man 2 do we really see the Avengers initiative, but I guess it works in a way, because in Iron Man 1 he kind of he fights the terrorist, and then he has to deal with the guy that
Biostain.
Yeah, but then he never went on to build his own version of the Iron Man suit for Iron Man to fight.
No.
So I guess Iron Man never had a villain or a reason to create the suit. So yes, moving forward, Thanos and Loki and all those people would have still came and been villains, but Tony Stark, if he happened to live on, maybe he never would have had the idea of making an Iron Man suit, so Tony Stark just would not have been an Avenger. The Avengers would have been the same minus Tony Stark. So it makes sense. I guess we'd assume that the Avengers would still go on, but
Nick Fury just wouldn't have shown up in the ending in Iron Man 1, how he showed up.
Yeah, well, I guess that was because they'd seen Tony Stark's suits and gone, "Oh, he could be helpful," but if he never makes the suits, Tony Stark's just a rich dude that makes weapons.
Yeah, that's true. What's your nitpicks?
No, it's been the same for a few of the episodes. I find that the heroes get killed too easily. In the movies, they rarely die, but in What If, no worries. Killmonger with the Wakandan spear just kills people for fun. That's probably one of my biggest issues, that I find they died really easy. But I guess if they draw it out and they have long fight scenes, you go, well, then then they need a whole movie opposed to an episode to make this work. So, no, I thought it was that's probably my only major nitpick. But all in all, I think it was a better story than some of the others, more believable.
Yeah,
it was fun.
And what would you like to see in episode 7? We haven't really seen an episode with the Guardians of Thor yet.
I don't know. I think we've seen all the hints from the trailers and the previews so far, so I think from here it's a mystery. But I'd be thinking Thor maybe. We've not seen anything with Thor or...
The Guardians yet?
Well, we haven't seen them yet, but we've seen an episode with Star-Lord, so maybe not. Maybe they may not make something with the Guardians, but possible. I don't know how much free reign they have with Spider-Man, whether there's like a limit on how much Spider-Man content they can have. But if I was to make up a scenario that would be cool, maybe... I think I said in the last episode if Spider-Man got bitten by something other than a spider would kind of be cool, but maybe... it's unlikely, but like a what if... like in Venom, like what if like Tony, what if the main character of Venom, he didn't get
Ed Brock?
Yeah, he didn't get infected by Venom, maybe someone else, and they used Venom for evil, kind of like Carnage.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so like Venom, like if Venom instead of becoming an anti-hero actually comes straight out of villain, which is kind of what happens in the other movies because he's always a villain of Spider-Man. But maybe that, or... maybe not another Iron Man one. What other? Maybe something different with Black Widow. But then I think we're kind of done with Black Widow.
Yeah.
Maybe a Hawkeye thing.
Yeah.
Maybe given that the Hawkeye show's coming out, maybe something with Hawkeye.
Yeah,
we might get. Cool. That would make sense if we got something Hawkeye related. But I don't know what a different what if scenario for Hawkeye would be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess if his family dies and he becomes Ronin earlier than in Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, maybe. What would be a scenario? What are your predictions or something you think would be cool for the next episode?
I think they'll be involving maybe like a team up episode, like team up with superheroes, like involving a couple. Like we haven't seen Captain Marvel yet.
Yeah.
So I think team up with certain amount of characters. I think taking on a villain in some way, I think. Maybe
like a what if the Avengers were different? Like a different set of Avengers gets selected for the Avengers Initiative and see how that would play out.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for helping, Luke. Comment down below your favourite episode so far and where you see the next episode going. Thanks for watching. Let the Force be with you. Bye-bye.